Well, hello, my little space muffins. This is Sahara, and I'm going to go over this a two-part series of important points in your chart. If you don't have your chart, please give me a message in the comments section, and I'll send you one. You must have your own chart. You're blessed to be born in an age that has so much fantastic information. I started off learning astrology in the 70s, which meant a pile of books and struggling for any information. And some of it was left over from the Middle Ages. I'm not kidding, but it worked. But now we have these tools, so use them. Knowledge is a responsibility. We're going to look at we're going to go across the pond to Prince Philip. He is a consort to Queen Elizabeth, which is a very strange title, but that's the way they do it over there. So here you have 10, rising. Capricorn is responsibility, but we're going to be looking mainly at numbers. 10 is I stand alone. I do my own thing. Thank you very much. You could be married or not married, but you're going to have this single vibration to you. And you probably prefer being single. The sun is also 19, and this is 10. 1 plus 9 equals 10. 19 is a lucky number. This would denote many things. I don't want to get into the individual charts, but they're also interesting. 13, number 13 is misfortunate, and the 7th house is your partner and also the public. So it means that he has blockages with communicating with his partner. What a surprise. Queen Elizabeth might be nice, but might be a little tough being the husband of an all-powerful queen who's kind of cold. And let's go up to the moon, La Luna. We're going to see the moon play into. I'm going to feature on the moon, and it's not hard because most people have Leo moons that is before the public. Leo is, of course, they're rulers, natural. They're center of attention, whether they like it or not. And we have the 7th house, which is the public. His chart is interesting, but let's move on to what we've got next. I love this lady, the Iron Maiden. We're still across the pond. This is Margaret Thatcher. She has 13 of Saturn, so very Saturn, on the ascendant. We have Leo right on the midheaven. This is where you're going. It points up. See that? That's where you're going. And it is Regulus, the sign of the leader. This woman was meant to be a leader, and so was Donald Trump has this a lot in his chart. Is he using his power well? I don't think so. But that's another chart which you're going to come to. Queen Elizabeth. I really need some royal music here. Once again, Capricorn rising. Once again, Leo moon in the 7th house of the public. She was meant to be before the public somehow. I don't think she was going to be a rock star. I just think it was part of her karma. Right on the midheaven, and 25 degrees is the beginning of very powerful stellium of stars called Via Combusta in Scorpio, and it just is kind of rock and roll to your fate. It's just crazy. It's a crazy roller coaster ride when you have Via Combusta. And once again, please get your chart. You will see these points in your chart, and you can learn a lot just by the numbers. We have Saturn on right on the midheaven. Her whole life has been responsibility, and you'll learn that that's what Saturn is, responsibility. Of course, the most interesting thing in her chart has been the younger women, from her sister, her younger sister, to her daughter. All of her stepdaughters have, it's just been crazy roller coaster ride for her. She couldn't really deal with it at all. You have uh, Princess or Duchess Fergie, a lively little character. We all loved her. She was just, out of control. And then we have tragic Diana, and then she's got her daughter and her younger sister. I imagine there's a lot more, but we don't know about it. So she thinks very seriously. And here we have number 4. 4 is like 13. 13 is 1 plus 3, and so we have very, very, very serious thinking, and also serious things about money. I'm serious. I've always seen, since I've looked at the charts, the royal family has money problems. Sorry, it's there in Prince Philip's chart too. Let's go on to somebody else. This is going to be our new hero. It is Gorgeous Joe Kennedy. He's a young guy. He was born in 1980, and he's the grandson of Robert Kennedy. And what a hero Robert Kennedy was. We have 22 of Gemini. We won't get into the meaning of all the signs, but 22 is a virgin version of 4. 2 plus 2 is 4, but not quite as tragic as 13 and 4. Once again, look what we have here, right on the 4th house cusp. Let me make sure. The 4th house cusp is your family and your home. And what do we have here? Royalty, American royalty. This is Regulus, and this is a king, the sign of the king. And we saw this in Donald Trump's chart. You're going to see this pop up with royal type figures. And it's right on this is his home. And there's nothing more important to him than his family. And once again, you've got the same Leo magic going on with this young fellow. I have a picture of him. You're going to be really impressed. This is a minor 13. I won't get into it. His chart shows so much. I'm just hoping for this young fellow to make it in politics. Here he is. Here's Gorgeous Joe. He is a young father, very dedicated to home and family. He is the grandson of Robert Kennedy, and what a charmer he is with that red curly hair. He's going to be a hero. I just pray for this guy. He is not going for him. Here we go with Muhammad Ali. I don't know what made me draw this up, because he just broke all barriers, and boy was he out front. He was up front, up in your face. 19. Of Leo, of course, there he is out in public. 19. I don't know his personal life. However, he tended to stand alone. And we have a 4 here and 13 here, which shows a little problem with thinking. 13 of Mercury means a bit of a problem with the way you communicate. So at first people didn't like him because he was such a loudmouth. Now that he died, having terrible problems with his speech and his mentality, it was tragic. but I think he was a hero because he stood up in a time when black people were suppressed, and he was verbal and he was crazy and up in your face, and that's just what we needed. And so in that way, he was a hero, especially for young black kids. Okay, let's look at this fabulous fellow, Richard Branson. Um, what a character he is, and of course, what do we have here? Right up front, Leo, and he's had as I guess everybody knows, he's had a blessed life. I did his numerology, and it came out to a perfect 10. So there is something about a perfect 10 and a detrimental 13. You're going to see it show up in actual numbers here. Let's move on. We don't want to get too lost in every chart because they're all interesting people. Next, we have Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, the current wife of Prince Charles. And once again, you have uh, Leo rising, but it's a 4, which is a 13. She's misfortunate. Everything about her says misfortunate. She might be like famous and wealthy and whatever, and married to a prince, but if you look at her chart, which is very interesting, she's a mystery woman, but we're going to move on from her here. But oh, here you have. See, here are these people with all kinds of money, but there's problems. Probably not liquid, so it's probably so frozen up in strange trustees and ships and things. But anyhow, you have Leo rising, rather mysterious. If you ask me, kind of uninteresting. She and Prince Charles have something in common, and it shows in their chart. They are both interested in the occult, and it shows in their charts. So they probably either meditate or have seances in the dusty old castles. Please invite me. I would love it. I am an astrologer and a spiritualist, so I would be right on board with that. It'd be so much fun. But anyhow, here we have the Galactic Center. Oh my God, this is so cool. This is somebody that's going to bring inspiration. And I've got this in Shirley MacLaine's and Wayne Dyer's chart. See, 29 or 28-ish, around in there, is a galactic center. You go right to the center of our galaxy, and there it is. And these people bring amazing inspiration. It's so exciting. Now, life has not been a piece of cake for her, to say the least. We have couple 13 things. She shouldn't travel. If you're friends with Oprah, tell her to stay home. And I did her chart and another tutorial, and take a look at it. I did a series of 3 of her charts. Here we have Miss Shirley MacLaine. Well, what do you know? The Galactic Center on the Midheaven. Inspiration, inspiration, inspiration. Here we have 28 of Sagittarius. So this is going to be amazing for inspiration, and that's been her whole life. I did a tutorial on her as well. If you want to look that up, I did Wayne Dyer as well. I did his chart. It's in there. It's in my list of charts that I've done. And if you want inspiration, this is the place to go. Midheaven, putting straight up. Where am I going? To inspiration. You see, all these people with the Galactic Center have this inspiration aspect somewhere in their chart. How fabulous that is. I have a Galactic Center on a very minor point in my chart, so I'm gonna have the ability to sprinkle little fairy dust around, but not like these magnanimous people, to say the least. we have, you see, I want to get the right, oh, here we go. Yeah, we have I stand alone. Okay, you're going to say, I'm like doing my own thing. That's number one. That's a 10. He was like married with like, I don't know, 8 kids, but he and his wife just couldn't get it together, and he really tried on that one. So you stand alone, you're doing your own thing. With a 10, you're going to be lucky. 10 is 10. Here we go, Mahatma Gandhi. As you know, I named my kitty Gandhi. And Gandhi he's not peaceful. He doesn't understand ahimsa and nonviolence. He's destroyed my environment. But he's so cute. He's a Himalayan. So I named him a nice Hindi name. But he is free. If y'all want him, he costs $300 or $400. I give them to you free. Just have extra money so you can replace things like lamps, curtains, couches, and he's so adorable. You're gonna love it all the way. But you got to be able to have damage control here. He's so darling. So Gandhi is free to a good home. Meanwhile, my hero Gandhi, well, what do you know? We have a Leo moon. He is meant to be a leader. He was a very unusual leader if you know anything about him. And he influenced the whole world in ways you cannot imagine. As you already know, this third house cusp in the way I communicate and other countries abroad, uh, this is the impact he had on teaching us what um, civil disobedience and ahimsa is, and our hero Martin Luther King picked that up, and so it goes. So let's move on. Of course, he was amazing, and you're going to see that some of our heroes, most of them got shot, like Robert Kennedy. Here we have Louise Hay. Wow, what a woman. Wowee. Leo rising. What a surprise. You know, and we have Regulus here on her second house cusp. So somehow she used her money wisely to rule over her little metaphysical kingdom. And so let's move on because she was an interesting lady. I did her chart too. Ernest Hemingway. I've not done his chart. Um, and it doesn't have the points I've been looking for, I don't think, except 10. I'm kind of lucky, but misfortunate. And 4 on the descendant. I'm depressed about the past, but we're going to move on. Oh, my favorite, Miss Marilyn Monroe. I did her chart three times. 13 rising. We loved her, but she was a tragic woman. And in the other charts that where I did a breakdown, I showed that she was not meant to be a movie star. She was supposed to be an intellectual, but the leonine personality took over, and she was an actress. She played the dumb blonde act, but she was quite the intellectual. And 13 degrees, misfortunate. 13 degrees, misfortunate, but Leo. And we have 10, I stand alone. I do my own thing, I stand alone. That's 10 of Gemini, and technically 10 or 19 moon. Okay? I stand alone. She got married a lot, but she couldn't make a partnership work. Who do we have here? Martin Luther King. Oh, who doesn't love this guy? He doesn't have the Leo, I don't think. He's got the 13 rising. We know what happened to this poor fellow. We have 13 here. And I think that's about it for the dissection of the important points that, like, he was so powerful and amazing. And I could get into this Jupiter's sun midheaven, and I did in a previous uh, expose. Here we go, Rosa Parks. If you don't know who she is, go back to school right away. Um, she started off the civil rights movement. She didn't want to sit down on the bus. She was told to stand up on the bus. She was tired from being, I guess she was like a maid. And the rules in the South were, if you were colored, they called them, you had to stand up for a white man. She wouldn't do it. So she sparked um, a strike with the buses, and she kind of picked up on uh, the time of Martin Luther King and Gandhi. However, I don't want to move into her chart, but that's I stand alone here. And the Galactic Center is on her 12th house cusp. You do things behind the scenes. You don't stand up in front of the world, but it happens anyway. It's a more subtle, behind the scenes type of influence, and she was Yogananda. Now, once again, if you don't know who he is, you need to go back to school or go meditate. He's a very famous guru. I lived in Encinitas near his temple. He was astounding personality. And I just wanted to point out the Leo moon. And he probably had a Regulus, because rising here, which meant he's like the ruler, and he was. Started a whole movement. And here is our current president of the United States. So I did his chart in great detail in another tutorial, but here you go. Regulus, what do you expect? And Mars. And Mars is a fighter. They love war. Oh my God. And Algol is someone that loses their head. And this is on the midheaven. I imagine that somehow he will come to an unfortunate end. That's where you get shot or your actions get out of control. These are not my personal opinions. Just there it is. And we have the beginning of Via Combusta here, which is a series of misfortunate stars. However, I imagine one of his children are going to pick up the baton, because we have the Galactic Center of Inspiration on his 5th house cusp. That's your children. Or, yeah, I guess that's your children. Prince Charlie, his chart's fascinating, but I'm running out of time. Leo rising. And how, unfortunately, 13 degrees at the midheaven, which is your direction. So, is he ever going to be king? That's the question. Looking at Queen Elizabeth's chart, she'll probably pass in 2 to 3 years via the movement of Pluto. However, will Prince Charles get to be king? This would say no, or if he does, it's not a good thing, and he'll pass it on to his son, his heir. Let's see. Oh, yeah. 13 on the 4th house cusp. Oh, my God. That's your home. That's your roots. That's your home country and your roots. This is not good. This is... let me make sure you can see this. I'm sorry. I'm not a cinematographer. I'm an astrologer. Here we have... and if any of the things didn't come out that I was pointing out, I have to do this over. He has the 13 on us. Let me see. Yeah, his fourth house cusp. It's just not fortunate for the family and the home country. It's just not fortunate. I hope he doesn't. I actually liked him as a person, but it's not good for him to be the leader. Let me bring this to an end. I just hope that my camera was able to zoom in on the important points. If not, I'll do it again. And I have a part 2 of this. So I'll look forward to seeing you again, my little space puppies. By the way, I just finally figured out how to make the subscribe button on my channel is to the right, and it's a kitty cat. And it says, that was Zen, Z-E-N, and this is Meow. How cute. So if you press that and leave your address, I'll send Gandhi to you. Or leave your birth information, and I'll send you your chart. So I'll see you later, probably in a couple of days, and we'll have a new tutorial of fascinating people in places and placements. And we're going to see if you have any of these placements, especially find out your rising sign. I bid you adieu and arrivederci.